Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone attending our webinar. I would like to share a few words about the University of South Asia before we start the program. Legendary ophthalmologist, politician, and philanthropist Professor Mehedi is the founder of this university. His goal was to provide quality education at a very affordable cost. Our present chairman, Professor Dr. Muhit, is following the same motto. Since its establishment in 2003, University of South Asia had developed into a strong student community, over 100 faculty members, and a modern campus in Bonani. Now, I would like to hand over to our respectable Dean, Irshad Ahmed Shaheen sir. He will conduct the rest of the program as the program's moderator. Thank you.
Thanks, Nusrat, and a very warm welcome to all our viewers right across the world. And before we go further into the program, let's first watch a video that the communications team has prepared on English department.
With the approval of the University Grants Commission, University of South Asia was established 17 years ago in 2003, having the philosophy of inclusivity through education at an affordable cost. In Bangladesh, we are one of the handful of universities who have our Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor. With the philosophy of inclusivity through education at an affordable cost, University of South Asia was established in 2003, and for 17 successful years, we have been academically nurturing the youth of Bangladesh. Our university is one of the handful of universities with UGC approval as well as Oxford graduate VC and Pro-VC, who have been approved by the President of Bangladesh. Our Bachelor of Arts in English Literature and Culture program nurtures the students into young professionals with powerful communication and critical thinking skills who are extremely agile and adaptable in a plethora of work settings, as well as able to compete for top positions in the international job market. Comprising of highly experienced faculty members who possess international exposure and experience, account for over 35 years in teaching. Our Bachelor in English program imparts heavy emphasis on interactive learning alongside the provision of theoretical lessons, utilizing dynamic learning materials alongside a hands-on as well as critical thinking-based approach. Research, assignments, and regular presentations are an integral part of our curriculum, while countless workshops, seminars, and readings are scattered throughout the year. Furthermore, the Debating Society of University of South Asia, which is mentored by the Dean, School of Arts and Culture, has won accolades nationally as well as internationally and gives heavy emphasis on nurturing both debating as well as adjudication skills. We have two large campuses in Banani. One is nestled in greenery with 2 playing fields as well as a gym, and the other at the heart of corporate Banani. Our university boasts fully digitalized classrooms, whereas our library is maintained using digital software and is home to over 6,000 books. Whether you want to climb the corporate ladder in multinationals and banks, venture into entrepreneurship, join government service, become a journalist, enter the fast-paced world of PR, marketing and communication, work in embassies, or contribute to research and academia, our program has been especially designed for you.
So, dear viewers, as you already know, and there's been a lot of enthusiasm over that, today's chief guest is going to be Professor Dr. M.A. Muhit, none other than the Chairman Board of Trustees itself. Now, he's based in London and is about to fly to Dhaka in a couple of days. And at this very moment, he's extremely busy with his fit-to-fly activities, the PCA and all that. But he will make his gracious presence anytime during the program. So let's go ahead with our other proceedings. So first of all, we are going to have a keynote speaker deliver her speech, and to introduce her, just like to say that she is a wonderful, wonderful human being with a lot of accomplishments. Uh, Her accomplishments are too many to describe here. She had her master's uh, from Aurangabad University and then PhD from uh, then she had a PhD on autobiographies of women writers. It's a very interesting area. And then if I go to her publications, she has as many as 32, no less than 32 publications. And then she was very passionately involved with extracurricular activities and all that. In fact, it would take us quite a few minutes to go through, run down her accomplishments. But instead of doing that, I think it should be better to listen to directly from the horse's mouth. I mean, that person is already here. She's one of the best persons to talk about today's topic, which is importance of pronunciation in English language. That is very important. Viewers, that is very important for many reasons. Let me cut a humor. Viewers, have you come here to die? Viewers, I ask you, have you come here to die? Well, খাঁটি বাংলায় বললে যে আপনারা কি আজকে এখানে মৃত্যুবরণ করতে এসেছেন? And that is the importance of pronunciation. I was just speaking Australasian version of English that is spoken in Australia and in New Zealand. That would be in RP, that would read as, that would sound as, viewers, have you come here today? আজ এসেছেন এখানে, আজকে এসেছেন আপনি? Have you come here today? And the Australasians would say, have you come here to die? So these are the pronouncing differences. Then we have American English, the state, and then the differences between North and South American English, and the difference between Canadian and American English, and all that. And then we have the subcategories, subdivisions to that, and the dialects, and we have a subcontinental way of speaking English, the Japanese kind of English, the Far Eastern kind of English, and what not, so many variations of English. So that's why we must be aware of the differences uh, of the intonations, of pronunciation, of the stress system and all that. So to give us a glimpse of that, we have uh, one of the most capable persons to do that, and that is, as I was saying, that she has enormously accomplished in both literature and language. She is none other than Dr. Bhagyashree Varma, and I'd like to request Dr. Varma to deliver her keynote speech.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a very sweet and very nice introduction. Welcome to all of you, dear viewers. This moment is actually a very, very historical moment for me. I'm feeling so overwhelmed sitting in Mumbai and talking to Bangladesh, being the part of this Dhaka seminar. This itself gives me the sense of history. What T.S. Eliot describes as historical sense. We are all in such a time, post pandemic times, where we have become the part of this square window. I'm so glad that Dr. Shanir, Nusrat ma'am, and all of the team of Dhaka, the University of South Asia, has having me here and has given me this opportunity to talk to you people, dear students. Let me tell you, language is such a funny thing. What connects us now is this small window, but our language. you know And when we are speaking about the pronunciation, before I share my screen with you, before we see these funny words, all the English words that we begin learning from and try to polish our pronunciation, let me first express my sense of gratitude. This University of South Asia, as I was looking at the glimpse, has not only been active academically, but it gives me a sense of pride now. Along with the historical sense, I'm so proud to be with all of you. Thank you so much, Dean Sir, Dr. Shanir, and Dr. Nusrat, Dr. Sabir. All of you have overwhelmed me. For one moment, I'm so nervous that I just want to see all of you, and being with all of you is such a nice time. This moment is so precious for me. I have been teaching English language for a long time. It's 2.5 decades now, and 1.5 decade nearly in Mumbai. So this topic is so important for me. When we were discussing what kind of program you are having, and the way you described to me not only the importance of the webinar for the students, not only the importance of how you connect with the world. Earlier we used to say that English is a window to the world, but the word window has been so prominent. We are all inside the window now. Not only we are using Microsoft Windows, whatever version you have, but also our language is a window to the world. Through this language we are connecting with the whole world from this window. So this is not only to win the world, this window is to win the world. See how the pronunciation takes you from one word to another word, and you can just make a beautiful language. English has been a beautiful language always, not only because it is moldable, not only it is having so many coinages, not only because all the countries of the world have adopted English and they have adapted to English culture. The adoption of language and the adaptation of the culture together makes us one part of the world. We are natives, but we are postmodern people, we are post colonial people, we are in the window of the world, looking at the world from the window. This is so funny. I love being with you. And let me just come to my topic. This is a small thing I have prepared mainly for the students, because we are talking about pronunciation. Now, when we talk about the pronunciation, I always remember my teachers who taught me to speak in English. Dr. Shanir gave you a very good example in the beginning when he said, "Have you come here to die?" You know, so that is not to die, it is today. And if you pronounce a word correctly, not only you are giving a correct meaning, but the link you create, the connection you create is so strong. Not only the impression, it's not for the impression that we speak good language, it is for the connection and the communication skills for which this institute is working is all based on why we call English as a soft skill, because the communication skill is all based on how you say. How you say is pronunciation. So, if you want to define pronunciation, what is pronunciation? Pronunciation is not what you say, it is how you say it. Grammar tells you this sentence is an order, this sentence is a request, this sentence is scolding someone. But if you look at the pronunciation of the speaker, if you hear the pronunciation of the speaker, you understand the meaning and the grammatical meaning also. So if I just want to say somebody is standing at the door, and if I just want to say come in, come in, Why are you standing there? And my tone tells the person that this is just a concern, not only permission to come in, but also the concern and care. But if somebody is standing there, I'm agitated, I would say, come in. Why are you standing there? And my scolding tone gives, so along with the pronunciation, what is important is also the way you say. My first meaning I always try to give in a simple language to the students is pronunciation means not what you say, but how you say. How you say it. That is so very important. The pronunciation is also important, while the accent and the tone is equally important. Now, while sharing my screen, I would just try to tell you, I think I'm sharing my screen here. Let me upload this. Uh, I think, is it visible to you? It's uploading now. Is it visible to you? Just 1 minute. This is saying okay. So just 1 minute. I can come to not this one. I'm so sorry. Just 1 minute. It's taking a little time here. Yes. Can you see? If you can see, you can tell me. If you are able to see the screen, you can tell me. This is a window I'm sharing so that I can also speak to you. Yes. Is it visible to you now? Somebody can tell me if the screen is visible.
Yes, we can see the presentation.
Okay. So it is not the title which is important. The topic is simple as pronunciation and speaking skill. So when we are talking about these two things, speaking skill, because it is the art of speaking, pronunciation is one part of it, and that includes accent and tone. And like I said, what you say is of course important, but the way you say, how you say it is so very important. Now, if you look at the sounds of English, Bangladesh and India are parallel in learning English. The teachers, when they speak English, when they teach English, and the students are picking up the pronunciation, like we were discussing backstage, and Dr. Shanir mentioned also in his speech that people were following RP so far, which was received pronunciation, and now we are actually changing only a name. We call it IPA, which are the alphabets according to the international standard. So they, whether they are given by Linguaphone Institute, whether they are adopted by RP, whether you read them in the books of say O'Connor, whatever books you follow, phonetics has the same structure. The good thing about it, it has the same design, the same structure, the same way of uttering that particular sound. So sounds of English, if you label them as international phonetic alphabet, they begin with these vowel sounds, and people who are learning are already aware of this. Teachers, of course, know because they are trainers. I am speaking for the students. Now look at this small picture where a flower is painted, and the sentence is a line from Gertrude Stein. She says a rose. What is a rose? Now, if you want to describe a flower, how will you describe it? And somebody told her to describe a rose, and she gave this description. She said, a rose is a rose, is a rose, is a rose, is a rose. Can you give a paraphrase? A word has ultimate meaning of that word in itself. Look at the phonetic sense of the poetic line. You can't say a rose is a flower because that will become a prosaic description. You can't say a rose is a breed of some kind of flower because that will become a scientific detection. So, what you say is, of course, important, as I said, but how you say it will give the meaning. If I say rose is a rose, is a rose, is a rose, is a rose, you know, you understand what is the meaning. So, we have the words here. I have just listed simple words on the screen for clarifying to the students. These are the words which give you vowel sounds, but also pay attention to the length of the vowel. Indians and Bangladeshi students make same mistakes. Not only we are in the neighborhood, the global neighbors, but also the common errors are there. You know, we learn English in the same way, we teach English in the same way, hence we make the same mistakes. So if we discuss those common errors, we can actually correct ourselves in a very, very better manner. So if you look at the first sound, E is small, while the same E with the two dots becomes E. Now the length is E, small length, E long. So there is a smaller and a longer length in the same vowel. Here you have the examples for the smaller length: hit, sit, kit, you know. And if you go to the longer length of the same vowel, see, heat, wheel, you know. Now if you exchange this, I have seen what the learning students, the beginners, do. They make mistakes because in place of the longer vowel, they utter the vowel in the smaller length, and in the place of the smaller length they utter the longer vowel. So that is an exchange. Instead of hit, if you say heat, the meaning changes, because in spoken English, in pronunciation, nobody is going to ask you the spelling. If you see it on the page, then you see the spelling. But while speaking, we are talking about speaking skills. So if we have the speaking skill, what is most important part of our speaking is the way you say each vowel, each consonant, each syllable, each word. As you know already, words are made of syllables, syllables are made of vowels and consonants. So if you look at the next part of it, hot, again, when you say you have to stop there because it is a smaller length vowel, while if you say longer length vowel in the same vowel, it is call, for, caught. But in the shorter, it is hot, rock, dot. So you can clear cut see, in a very clear way you can see the difference. I teach my students in this paired manner. You can't teach one vowel in isolation. If you have a comparative, the shorter length and the longer length, students pick up very nicely and they understand in a very clear manner. They understand very concretely and in a better way. Similarly, you see the small shorter length oo and the longer length oo. So you have put, shorter, could, shorter length vowel, would, which are very simple words. And you know the structure of English language is so lovely. You have so many rhyming words. English is not only a funny language, but it is a poetic language. I just admire Dr. Shani because he made a very valuable statement. He said that he was learning phonetics and the teachers were so nice that they made the students, understand phonetics as if it is poetry. So you can see the link, the strong connection between phonetic sound system and the poetic impression of language. If you have the phonetic sounds matching, that becomes a rhyme. And rhyme is the soul of poetry. So language is poetic when the sounds are phonetic. So you have the longer length oo, blue, food, moon. You can see the difference. And if you go further, the similar examples continue. Now, some sounds, they take your breath in a stronger force, like a. So if you say cup, luck, sun, it takes a stronger breath force. Instead of cup, if you say cup, then you are not speaking international phonetic alphabet. You are not speaking RP. You are speaking either Bangladeshi native or Indian native English, because we have a mother tongue. Bangladeshi people, all of you have the mother tongue, sometimes the second language, Bangla, which is such a sweet language. But we have in India multiple languages. So what we call this is the impact of mother tongue on the other tongue. The effect of mother tongue on the other tongue. And the other tongue is English. If our mother tongue, like in India, there was a very beautiful article in Times of India. It said that we have multiple varieties of Indian English. And what are those varieties? A Punjabi man from Punjab speaks English with the impact of mother tongue Punjabi. So he says suspense. He doesn't speak like suspense, because of Punjabi impact. A Bengali man, so that Punjabi impact English was called Pinglish. Penglish means Punjabi plus English. That actually meant Punjabi-fied English. If a Bengali man in India is speaking, do you understand what I am showing? What I am saying. The sound sa becomes sha in Bangla. And I had a friend whose name was Suman. But in Bengali, like you all know, Suman is called Shamana. So there is a pronunciation impact. This is not simply funny. This is so interesting, because that makes you aware of so many languages that we have. A Bengali man who spoke English with a Bengali effect, that kind of English was called by Times of India, it was called Benglish, Bengali-fied English. Similarly, there is a Hindi person, Hindi speaking person from UP, from Rajasthan, from Haryana, from Punjab, from MP. Most of the regions of India use Hindi language. So if a Hindi man is speaking, he would use English with a Hindi impact. That was called Hinglish, Hindified English. If a Maharashtrian person, I am in Maharashtra now, in Mumbai. So if a Maharashtrian person is speaking with Marathi impact, the Marathi medium schools generally give very heavy sounds. So when I was studying in schools, I heard my friends speaking English like, but I wanted to, I walked, like that. So this is not a mistake. This is not a wrong English. This is a raw English. Raw English we can say, organic English we can say, and we can say this is the dialect we call Minglish, because Marathi impact on English, Marathi-fied English is becoming Minglish. So my teacher used to give me these examples. A person from South India, a Telugu person speaking English has a Telugu impact on English, like Keralite will have a different impact, and Andhra is a Telugu speaking region. So Andhraite people will have a different impact. I had one teacher who gave me one very funny examples. He said his friend wanted to get in the train, and the train was so crowded. So he was shouting, he was telling people, let me get in, let me get in, and people were not able to understand what is he saying. So then my teacher clarified, he was saying, let me get in. But with the Telugu impact, because of the mother tongue effect, he was saying, let me get in, and people were not able to understand. So there is a problem of communication because of the wrong pronunciation. I say it is wrong, but actually it is not wrong. For a teacher of phonetics, it has to be wrong. In general, it is a way we communicate. If you understand, everything is right. In the spoken form, in the usage, if you understand everything, then it would be right, because our purpose of speaking is always communication. But because of pronunciation, if you are missing the communication, then it becomes a mistake. So look at these words: cup, luck, sun, because it takes a strong breath force. Arm. Now longer utterance of the vowel. Arm. Father. Smart. Is there. It is like the raga of music. One of my teacher gave a very good explanation. He said, how do you recognize which sound is a vowel and which sound is a consonant? There is a simple test. He said, when you utter a sound, you can continue like a musical raga, then it is a sound called vowel. If you have to stop, it is a consonant. For example, pa is a consonant, ka is a consonant, so I have to stop. But if I say ah, I can continue like a raga. Ah. So whatever you can continue. If you are saying another sound like a is a vowel, because I can continue like music. A. So if it is ooh, anything. So when this is, I am just giving you very domestic examples, because my teacher taught me like that. When you can continue the sound without break, like a musical sound, that is a vowel sound. It's a simple test. Every sound that you can continue is a vowel sound. Every sound that you have to stop after uttering the single sound is a consonant. So you can look at these words. Cat. So k, a, t. Cat. Black. Crack. B, l, a, k. Crack. K, r, a, k. You will identify now which sound is vowel and which sound is consonant. Met, bed, set. You can see a. This is an example of a. A is a shorter length, not a. That is a diphthong. We are coming to the diphthong in the next part. Away, a is a weak sound. In the beginning you had a strong cup, luck, sun. But here you have a weak sound. Away, above, amid, where you cannot have a sound in a strong breath. Turn. Now you have long a. So a is a sound in three different varieties. One is a strong a, the other is the weak a, and the third is the long a. So turn, learn, earth, bird, curl, girl, all those words. You will enjoy finding the matching words once you start learning phonetics. If you have already started it, you should observe these minute things and how funny they are, how interesting they are. The other examples, now you have the examples of diphthongs. Diphthongs means double vowel. There are two vowels together, and that helps making in the word, like say, eight, main, near, here, fear, boy, join, soil. So you have seen a and ear and oi. These are the examples. Again, pure, cure, music. If you see ua or ear, or you have ua, tour, pour, door, not door. That is a different word. So doer is the one who does, and pour, How many people in India, how many people in Bangladesh speak like that? Even the teachers like me do not speak purely British accent, because we want to communicate, we want to reach out to our students, but at least we try to match the international alphabet, so that we are not going into the extreme raw pronunciation, we are not going to the extreme, that polished pronunciation, which would be actually incomprehensible for our students. If I start speaking like a Britisher, like an American man, then my students would not purely get it. So I have to maintain the middle way, and the middle way is for the teachers, but when the students are learning, they have to pick up the correct pronunciation. Again, if you look at the next part of it, pictures I have just put there to make you understand maybe the importance of the road you are walking on, and it is connected to us, to the whole world. You can see many buildings in the picture, so that is like a window to the world again. And another picture here, you can see it is looking just funny, because this small child, a very cute child, is trying to imitate the ancestral monkey statue, which was known for Gandhiji's monkeys. But here it becomes a symbol, it becomes a meaning of something you want to say, and how you say it, by gestures sometimes, by speaking sometimes. And here, because we are talking about speaking skills, gestures are also associated with the way we speak. So here we have other sounds like I, five, I, sign. All these are separate words, but how they use this diphthong a, e. If you go to the diagram of phonetics, you will find there is an arrow shown in the diagram from R to E. The part of the tongue, when we utter A, our mouth is open. The deans are already told you that you are going to have it directly from the elephant's mouth. So I am just trying to show you how the mouth organs work when we speak these words. So A to E, a e. So a e will be joined and made I. So that is 5. I, sign. And then similarly, we have another arrow shown in the diagram from R to U, which is now, out, down. And another. Now this is a very interesting example, because when you say O in Indian languages, just like in Bangla, we have the sound O, which is a vowel sound. But in RP, received pronunciation, as well as international alphabet, you do not have O. O sound is not there. It is a, u. When you join a, u, you say go. You don't say go. You say go. Matlab ga, a, u. If you join another word, you join another sound in another word like ha, a, u, m, home, then you speak like a Britisher. If you say home, you are speaking like an Indian. But if you say home, this is my home, that is what makes your pronunciation polished and global. Again, the component like show, we say show, the show was good, the show must go on. These are the words and the phrases we use. But it is not show, it is show. The show must go on. Then you are speaking like RP or international language. Where, air, share. Again, if you see this combination, it is not where, it is where, where, where. Air, the synonym of wind, air. And share, which is share. These are the diphthongs, and the double vowel actually makes your accent very, very polished. I gave these basic examples only for the students because my strong belief is if you correctly utter the vowels and the consonants, all your language will get polished automatically, whatever you speak, because every word we speak makes a phrase makes a sentence, a phrase makes a clause makes a sentence makes a paragraph. So whatever you speak will begin with a syllable, with a consonant and a vowel. If your vowels pronunciations are correct, if your consonant pronunciations are correct, you cannot go wrong. Then even if you go for the interview, when you speak, the interview committee will be so impressed. They would say, what nice English this child is speaking. We have to give him a job. They cannot avoid you, and you will not fail in your interviews. Now, again, we look at some examples. The mask on is an reverse poster where we are all using mask where we go out somewhere. So, if you look at the word mask, it is longer in length. The vowel, which is Again, these are the other examples. Like here, we begin the examples of consonants. So consonants have nasal sounds also. Ng is nasal sound. Sing. You have to you can feel the vibration in the nose when you say sing, when you say finger, when you say king. So this is the sound which in spelling we write ng. I have not given the phonetic transcription here as a symbol because I just wanted to make clear the way we say our pronunciation rather than our transcription. What is important is our pronunciation, the way we say. So pet for pa is also plosive. You know that phonetic teacher will help you to understand the category, the labels. So pa, and generally what Indians do, they say pa. So they will say pet, but pet is wrong. You can't say pet. You have to say pet, because pa, the two lips have to come together and produce the sound and separate immediately. Pa. It is not pa. It is pa. So it is pet. Map. Then you have R. R is a symbol, but it means R. R is a sound. Red, try. The next sound is sa. Sun, miss. The way you say sun, there is a friction. The way we use the fricative sounds. Sun, miss. She, crash, tea. Getting, check, church. I've just listed some sounds and I'm giving you some random words to exemplify, to show you the example of the way we say these words with the conscious pronunciation of these sounds. So check, church, then think, think. This th is not pronounced correctly by Indians. Most of the third world language speakers do not use the correct way of saying th. We say thank you, but we have to say thank you, thank you. You know, the part of the tongue which has the friction towards the part of the palate will decide what kind of sound you are producing. So think, it is not think, it is think. Both, as I said, there is no o, so it is a u, both. This, again, like the, there is the is also not pronounced correctly by Indian speakers, mostly by the countries which have adopted English much later. So we say this, but it is not this or it is not this. It is this, that, there. The, you have to say the like that with a friction. And mother. Again the sound wa, voice 5. There is a difference between wa and wa. So wa, we have friction. Wa is semi friction. It is not actually friction. Wa is bilabial, so it has no friction, but w has friction. Wet window, because this sound has w, it has no friction. Then z, lazy, z. Even in z you have different varieties. You have j, which is different. You have z, which is fricative, and j, which is affricate. And then you have less friction, semi friction you have in affricates, but fricative is full friction. So zoo, lazy, and then pleasure, j. In between z, j, there are two extremes. Z is lot of friction, j is semi friction. In between you have j. J is half friction with y added, j, where y is added. So it is actually it is like a triphthong, but we don't call it a triphthong. J is three sounds together, j, j, y. But that is how we say it, the traditional RP or the international alphabet. Now we come to the next examples. If you see, these are very simple examples. I kept my discussion very, very simple, because I strongly believe that this is a primary lesson. If the children who are learning phonetics, the students who are beginning to polish their pronunciation, if they understand the basic way of saying it, the way you say, how you say is important. So there are the words which we say in this way. Bad lab, d. If you see the pronunciation of b and d, bad lab, the first b and the last b, bad and lab. While d, if you pay attention to d, did, lady. Lady is very important, because we say d. When we say d, we are actually touching the upper part of the palate. So it is very, very important the way you use your mouth organs when you speak a word. Find, if, give, flag, how, hello. For ha, ha is a glottal sound. It gives you breath, as if you are breathing. Ha. When you say ha, it is a breath out, breathing out. So how, hello, hi. So ha is a glottal sound, and the way we say is very, very important. Yes, yellow. Ya is also ya. It comes from the back part of the tongue. So you have the way of saying these sounds. If the diagram you see, your phonetic teacher will always explain with the help of the diagram, where you can see the diagram of the tongue, the lower part of the tongue, the middle part of the tongue, the upper part of the tongue, and which part of the tongue touches which part of the palate when you speak a specific sound. Ma, because ka, after ya it is ka. Cat, back. Ka is also backside part of the tongue. Leg, little. La, it is the front part of the tongue touching the front part of the palate. La, la, leg, little. So little also has two varieties of la. Then we have ma, the nasal sounds, ma and n. Ma, ma, because it is plosive, bilabial, ma, and na is nasal. From the nose you can listen to the vibration, na. The examples are man, lemon, no. Again, it is not no. It is not the word we say no, because there is no o sound. No, na a u, no. And then pen, ta is aspirated, so it becomes 10. And if you pay attention to the pronunciation of na in 10, it is different from no. The initial position of the sound in the word will be slightly different from the final position of the sound in another word. Even if you even if you learn how to say the word, further you need to pay attention to the position of the word, where the sound is located, in the beginning of the word or in the ending of the word. Accordingly, the breath force will be used. Now this was just a picture. I have very what you say, self obsessed picture of mine, just a piece of glass where you have to microscopically see, otherwise you can't know what are the features. So these are the features you have to microscopically observe so that you can speak a correct sound. Now after the sounds, once the sounds are introduced, what is important for a student is to pick up the practice of the sounds. And when you do practice, what you do is form and focus. Now this is a tense situation. If you see classroom atmosphere, theme based discussions happen, innovative discussions happen with the teachers, ideation also happens. With the technology, we have learnt lot of ideation and vision of the past, the current, and the upcoming new situations. For example, if you look at the past pronunciation, the Chaucerian, medieval times, pre independence times, then post colonial times, post colonial times, post independence times, every phase of history from the past to the current will give you a different pronunciation. And if you look at this picture, ed is a past tense, ing is a present tense. You know that. In verb, we add the suffix ed, it becomes a past tense. We add ing, it becomes a current situation, the present tense. So a tense situation is where this small letter is making a comment. Easy. These guys always been known to let action in the to take action in the past, because this is a past tense. So this is a funny picture which gives you the difference between ed and ing. And now we are coming to the final part of my discussion, where a good speaker strives to explore rather than explain. Plus, by the creation of meta language, what we were discussing so far is a kind of meta language. We are talking about language in language. We are talking about English sound system in English. This is meta language. And linguistic and semantic properties. You know what is linguistic properties? They come from language. What is semantic properties? That is the meaning. We understand the meaning. Meaning is semantic. Properties of a set of text. We study the text. There are many sets, there are many texts under the microscopic glass to reveal the implicit profound circumstances under which the text is produced. So if a poet is writing a poem, suppose you look at a nursery rhyme, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, the world famous nursery rhyme and the favorite one for children. Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. How the poet creates such a text, what kind of sounds the poet is using, why he repeats the word twinkle. If there is la in twinkle, why the next word has to be little? You know, there is a sound to sound connection. Why I said phonetic is poetic, because language has phonetics, therefore language has poetry. You can see the connection very clearly now. So what is important for us, and how is that important? Not only the aesthetic criteria, not only the personal, domestic, social ethos. You talk to your papa in English at home. Domestic ethos. You talk to your friend and your neighbors and your acquaintances. Social ethos. Personal, when you are talking to yourself, when you are chatting online. Or academic standards are there. Institutionalized standards are there, in order to betterment resources, because you always want to be better. You know, who doesn't want to improve? We are all having a long journey towards betterment, and our positive, performing, concrete, and convincing resources come from language. So, language is very, 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 very important, and the way you speak is so important. I'll give you one example when I come to the last part of it. Why language is so important? Pragmatic relevance is again design of the existing and the probable realities around the theme, around the writer, around the substance, any text that you are studying, whether it is Shakespeare, whether it is John Keats's poetry, whether it is a drama by George Bernard Shaw, anything that you study, not only the theme, not only the writer, but the substance. The substance is very important, which makes the text meaningful. The journey of meaning begins from the journey of the word. We understand language from the word to the meaning. We reach the meaning. That is our destination of the journey, understanding language. So here the picture is slightly funny because this little monkey has so many question marks, and it says questions are guaranteed in life, answers aren't. Now, why this quote is just, I felt this quote is relevant because you have so many questions. I was just wondering, when people ask questions, they think so much. Thinking is the reason of questioning. If you are a good student, you will ask questions to your teacher because you are a thinker. A good student is always a thinker. A person who thinks has a question mark. People who don't think do not have questions. And if you have questions, then you will find answers. So it is a good sign to have questions. And just before I end the discussion, I'm still here for discussion with you. But I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for listening to me with such a great patience. All of you, my friends from Dhaka, from Bangladesh, I am so overwhelmed. I have been talking to you about this little topic of how the way we say matters so much. And that is what we call pronunciation or speaking skills. Now let me stop my sharing of the screen and we can discuss. And I welcome you all for your comments, your questions and queries and remarks. And before you start shooting your questions, also, as I told you, I will give you one example of how language is important. I will just sum up with that example. Now, there was one man who was drowning in the river. The river was overflowing, it was flooded, and this young man was drowning. And there was another man who was passing by. So he saw that this man is drowning, and he went to the river bank and he tried to catch his hand. The man was hanging, holding something, some branch of a tree, and the water was flowing with a huge force. And the man on the shore was giving his hand, and he was actually telling the person who is drowning, give me your hand, give me your hand, so that I can save you. But the drowning person was not giving his hand because he was holding something, and he was a person who never liked to give something. So when he was told, give me your hand, he thought, why should I give? I don't want to give anything. The language is so important. That person on the bank understood that this drowning man is not giving because he is not in the habit of giving. So he changed his language. To save the world, also, you have to change your language. So this savior changed his language and he said, okay, you don't want to give me your hand. Okay, take my hand. He said, take my hand. And the moment he said, take, you know that drowning person understood that something is to be taken. So this is so funny. I just remembered it because my teacher told the story. This drowning person immediately took the hand of the person standing on the shore, and he could save him. So see, the meaning is the same. If you use the language, sometimes you are using synonymous sentences, but what matters is the way you say. Finally, the meaning of language is, of course, what you say is important, but the way you say is more important. So this was just a little story to tell you the importance of language. And let me stop here with a huge thank you again to the team of University of South Asia, Dr. Shaheen and Nusrat Madam and the whole team, the organizers of the program. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm open for discussion. Whosoever, the students, friends, listeners, you can ask me anything. You can comment on the topics we were talking of. You can give me your remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. In fact, we are all listening in rapt silence, I suppose. I suppose all were in rapt silence because the way you have been teaching the, the, the phonetic awareness, the phonological awareness, you have been making it so easy on the ears and minds of the young learners. I'd like to put it this way: to be a wonderful teacher, they have to have two things. One is total masterliness, total command over things, over the stuff, and a very sympathetic mind. I think this is a rare combination, and I've seen that in you today. And you took me more than 40 years back, 41 or 42 years back, to my university sophomore days when we were doing phonetics under a very able teacher who used to make it very interesting to us. And it's the same thing that I have experienced today. And the way you ended, in fact, phonetic is poetic. That is what you have proved. The wonderful way that you have finished it up, that you have ended. It was beautifully done, beautifully started. It proceeded beautifully, meandered wonderfully, and then the end came like a magic touch.
Thank you,
I,
sir. It's all my honor and pleasure.
in fact, I generally do not run out of words. Generally, I do not. But today, I'm out of words. I've lost my words to say adequately about how you performed. It was a very wonderful performance, and this will be uploaded in the YouTube, I think, for the times to come. Our students and anybody will be immensely benefited from what you said today. It was a gem of a lecture, madam, I can assure you. From
Thank you,
over
sir.
there, from long way, you were from University of Mumbai, and what you delivered today, University of South Asia, will remember for times to come. An ocean of gratitude, ma'am.
Thank
So,
you, sir. Thank
uh,
you.
so I've been told by the backend that like to ask you some questions. They will be doing that, but before that, let me go on to our special guest, Mr. Mehedi Alam. He is a lecturer at Narsingdi College, and he has an illustrious career already. Has had an illustrious career, good achievements. He studied TESOL at Trinity College in London, UK, and he did his master's in international management at University of Poitiers, France. So quite a pleasant, quite a amusing combination of TESOL from UK and management in international management, a master's in international management from France. So it's a beautiful combination. Let's see what he has to give us. I think he has a lot of things up his sleeves. So let's go on to Mr. Mehedi Alam, our special.
All right. I would like to start with saying that Assalamu alaikum everyone and Namaste to Dr. Fatima. She has really said wonderfully. She had explained everything, every small details of the phonetics and all the basics. I think it was a basic class for everyone who wants to learn phonetics. So it was wonderful class, and I would like to thank University of South Asia for inviting me over here, and I feel honored, honestly. I'm not going to talk about the technical details here. What I'm going to talk about is the importance or some benefits of having good pronunciation in English language. All right. So for me, pronunciation is very, very important. Some people in South Asia, especially in my country, that as long as speak, we don't need to have good pronunciation. Yeah, I agree with Barma. She said that language is for communication, but at the same time, we need to have good pronunciation, because it's a mistake to think that pronunciation is any less important than reading, listening, writing, or speaking skills. For me, pronunciation is the bridge between a native speaker and the other, because this is the first thing a native speaker will notice about other people when they're talking, or when they're using the language as their second language. For me, without a clear pronunciation, without clear sounds, my message or the other people's message could get lost. I mean, the listener might even get frustrated because he won't understand what I'm trying to say. So incorrect pronunciation, or I might degraded pronunciation might change the meaning of that word. So pronunciation is very important. I can share you my personal experience. When I was in UK, in London, one day I went to one of my university professors and I asked him, like, sir, could you please arrange me some social activities? And he said, sorry? I said, could you please arrange me some social activities? And he again said, like, pardon me? I mean, I couldn't make him understand what I was trying to say. And he said, do you mean social activities? I said, yes. You see, like a little difference in pronunciation can make a huge difference. So pronunciation in English language is very, very important to me. So I advise all the learners, all the readers, they should learn the pronunciation, maybe not perfectly, but accurately. This is because a good pronunciation will cut you with millions of English-speaking people around the world. When you making good sounds, when people will start understanding you, it will be easier for other people to understand you. It will connect you to the world. I mean, you can connect to a lot more people than you can imagine. At the same time, it will help you to listen and understand English better, because you will learn to identify, organize the sounds that other people are making. And trust me, there is no better feeling than understanding everything of a second language, I might say. Then I can say, if a person has a good pronunciation, then he or she, it will be more hard to boost or grow our confidence. When you can send the foreign people, or I might say the native speaker, or the native speakers or the foreign people can understand you, you more and more conversation. So more conversations mean more practice, and more practice can improve your English very fast. But to be honest, I have not seen a lot of institution in our country. I can say about my country, I'm sure in South Asia as well, that teaches pronunciation in the very early stage of the students, like in primary school or in elementary school. It happens because of some reasons, such as I can say maybe the teachers are not native speakers, or maybe they're not well trained. Also, it could be because there are too much focus on the testing, and they don't have enough time, or maybe they don't care about the way you have to speak. or maybe phonetics can be boring. But of course, if Dr. Varma teaches in a school, it would be a lot more easier and funnier and entertaining, I assume. And there is another common mistake, understanding that people think learning pronunciation means speaking. It's completely different. Pronunciation is a different. It needs different skills and particular attention. And pronunciation doesn't mean that you have to speak perfectly. You have to speak you nicely. So these are the things that we have to consider while learning pronunciation. So for me, I can say that for a language, I think in any language, of course in English, pronunciation is very, very important. If you sound good, you're good. So that's all I can say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mehedi Alam. It was really a good presentation, polished one, but really were taught us on the right foot. It was really absorbing. It was very interesting. Now, I request the communication department to allow the question makers, a couple of them, 2 or 3, to make their questions to any member of the panel they would like. Please introduce yourself.
Hello and a very good evening to everyone. Hope all of you had a good day and are in great health. I'm Farzana Sagdania and I'm currently doing my bachelor's in English Literature and Culture at University of South Asia. So first of all, I'd like to thank our Honorable Chairman, Professor Dr. M.M. Muhit sir, for joining us here today and giving us and making this event more special. And I would also like to thank our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Bhagyashree Varma ma'am, and our special guest Mehedi Alam sir for coming here and giving us the opportunity of expanding our knowledge. So my question to our keynote speaker is that, ma'am, how can we assist someone with the stammering problem to improve their pronunciation skills? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a very interesting question you have asked. And phonetics is such an area where you can help people not only to polish their pronunciations, but also to pick up sounds. Because language begins with a sound, it begins with a vowel and a consonant, as we have known. So if somebody has a stuttering problem, we can give that child only one sound to speak, and the best way to teach such children is by giving the vowel sounds. As I was demonstrating in my talk, the way my teacher said, how do you identify the vowel sound? Like a musical continuity. So if I am a stuttering child and you are my teacher and you give me a sound, ah, and you try to speak ah, 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 and then I imitate you, because the students always imitate the teachers. The students learn by imitating the teachers. So if my teacher is teaching me in such a simple way, I imitate this way I will learn. So by practice, the children do pick up. Not only they pick up, but they improve so fast. What you need is continuity of practice. Continuity is the key word. You need everyday practice, even if it is 5 minutes. They are called drills. Drill, you know what is a drill? I say something and you repeat it. That becomes a drill. So in the college language laboratory, back in my college, we had established language laboratory, and we gave the drills to the students. So how did we give the drills? For example, there is a word like experience, but Indian speakers speak this word as experience, but it is not that. In RP, it is experience. So you have diphthong twice, peer, rear, experience. If you say this way, the children have to repeat. The teacher will say experience. Then the students will repeat experience. First time that the students will not be able to say it. You have to give them a drill. You have to make them repeat after you. Repetition, continuous practice, giving a drill. These are the methods. And from these methods, even a stuttering child can learn the sounds, can pick up the continuous pronunciation, and begin with a vowel. The key is you have to begin your lessons with a vowel. You have to give a sound like E, 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 and then the child will learn. First, it will say E, 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 and then it will say E, E. This way you have to make them pick up. It is very easy. Just like our parents taught us when we were small babies. How did we learn language? We were not born speakers. Even the normal children, the normal speakers were stuttering. In the childhood, when they were babies, in the infancy, they were not able to speak continuously. Then our parents used to teach us like teachers, aise bolo, say this way, and then they would say, bolo, bolo, mama, bolo, bolo, small baby. How do you tell the small baby? Speak, speak, mama. And the small baby says, ma, ma. And then it says, mama. This is the way. So this is a natural way of learning. This is not something scientific. This is the way we pick up language. Hence, the child which is stuttering is not a different child. He is a normal child. You have to train them, because the training is missing. They are not able to speak. So the phonetics teacher can be a very good agency. The language teacher can be a very good medium to educate such children, to make them speak and to give them confidence by these strategies of teaching, by these methods. Give them pronunciation practice, give them drills, start with the vowel sounds, give them small words in the beginning. Then they will pick up. Thank you, dear.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for spending your valuable time on us.
It's my pleasure.
It has been spellbinding spell again. How you made it simple, how you made it soft on the ears of this student, this young girl, and then again how deeply it was rooted in the realities of phonetic science,
Yes.
of phonological space. So that is the matter. That is the thing that, well, the teacher must always try to make it simple on the ears and in the brain of the student. That is what you are so good at. Yes, we all know that. Yes, the way you were talking about the vowels, it was so catchy, because we tend to make that mistake because English is a tricky language at times. Well, let's go to the C beach, okay? And who cares about the beach? Who cares about beach? Well, sea beach jabo. We'll go to the sea beach, okay? But beach is a is an unpleasant word, isn't it? Nobody would like if that word is used. Similarly, there's a sheet of paper, okay? Excellent. But Very rarely we say that. Sheet of paper, sheet of paper. No, very rarely we do that. Sheet of paper. Well, sheet is also very obnoxious. So there is where the importance of phonetics and phonology comes into play. The awareness must be there when it is a vowel, single vowel, when it is a diphthong, and what is the difference? Yes, we say home. I'm going home. No, I'm going home. That this is a very important thing that you have ingrained, you have really rooted in the minds of our students today, I believe. And that is a supreme achievement to do that in such a short stint, such a short spell, such a short time. You have achieved all that. Again, madam, again, gratitude from our part. So, um, is there anybody else? Uh, I'm asking the communications. Is there anybody else there who will ask any question? Is there anybody? Communications. Is there anybody at the?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sadia Jahan Shifa. I'm a student at Department of English Literature and Culture, University of South Asia, Dhaka, Bangladesh. First of all, I'm thanking everyone for giving me a chance to be a part of this extremely informative webinar. And now I would like to ask a question to our honorable keynote speaker. Ma'am, what are your thoughts on the speech therapy for children with speech impairments? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sadia. That is another interesting question you have asked me. So, English is a language which does not require a lot of organ energy. It requires breath energy. English is a language that requires the energy of the breath rather than the organ. This I can give you a very simple example for this. One of my teacher, he used to tell us, you have to clutch your teeth, you know, like to speak Indian language, you cannot speak any Indian language, even Bangladeshi Bangla as a language, if you are closing your teeth together. But if you clutch your teeth together, you can still speak English. Like, I want to ask you, what is your name? Now in Bangla, if I utter that sentence, I have to speak with all my mouth organs active. But in English, I can just close my teeth, clutch them together, and I can say, what is your name, Sadia? You know, my teeth did not move. So I am still able to speak because English takes the breath energy, not the organ energy. And it is a language which is called dental language. Dental, bilabial, these are the sounds. We speak English with the help of the teeth and with the help of the lips, not with the help of the inner. Only tongue is important because different sounds have the different parts of the tongue, but tongue anyway is able to cooperate. So nature has such a magical system. Though you may feel that this child has a speech issue, or there is an issue of speech impairment, even then people will be able to speak. Even their mouth is tightly closed, they will be able to speak. I want to ask you, how are you, Sadia? So I will close my mouth tightly, I'm not moving it, and I'll say, how are you, Sadia? How are you, Sadia? How are you, Sadia? You know, I can also change my tones. So that means less organ energy and more breath energy. because the only one language in this whole world is English, which anybody can speak, irrespective of your ability or disability. Because English does not require that much effort which other languages require. To give you a parallel example, if you try to speak Sanskrit, the ancient Indian language Sanskrit, which is so heavy, it is so heavy that you can't keep your mouth shut, your teeth clutched, and cannot speak it if you keep your mouth shut. So Sanskrit, we have shlokas. कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्य मा फलेषु कदाचन. You have to move everything in your mouth, up and down, lips and teeth and tongue and palate and hard palate and soft palate and uvula, up to uvula, the last part of the tongue. Even the glottis you have to move. You can feel the vocal cords. In phonetics also you can teach and learn that the vibration of the vocal cords. Comparatively, the energy which is required for English is very less. So your question is actually matching to the earlier question. Hence, for teaching such children also, you can have the same strategy. Strategy is a method, the method of teaching. You know what Shakespeare says? He says when Hamlet is pretending to be mad, Shakespeare gave us this popular statement which has become a popular quote. He says, "Be it madness, there is a method in it." Even if it is a madness, there is a method in it. If you go by method, if you do anything methodically, success is sure. So if you are teaching by following these methods, what are the methods? They are very simple. Just produce the sound and tell the children to imitate you. Picking up the sound by imitating the teacher. Even the speech impairment issue can be helped. The child who is not able to speak will be able to speak. There is a non-verbal communication also. When we speak, we move our eyes, we move our hands, we move our body, we make the gestures. So the child will understand the gesture. When you are saying come, come, so you are also doing a gesture like come. But when the child observes you, the child also will pick up the same gesture and say come, come. Then the child will pick up like that. This is a simple thing. There is nothing scientific about it. There is nothing very question of training about it. It's so natural. Just as I said, we pick up language when we are small babies. We observe things, we observe people. The way people speak, we start speaking. That is why psychology tells you environment is your teacher. Not only you have genetic impact on your language and personality and thinking, but the way you make your life, the way you are making your personality, the way you are made, the way you grow up is all governed by two factors. One is genetics, the other is environment, because we pick up from the environment. So if I look at Sadia and I know that her name is Sadia, I learned the pronunciation because I have heard this sound. Sa, a, the, ia. And then I can pronounce it. But if I am doing it wrong, you can tell me this is the way I pronounce it. Indian names sometimes are very difficult to pronounce, because people do not know how to. Even the foreign names too are difficult to us when we pronounce them. We know that it is Shakespeare, William Shakespeare. But people who do not know, they would say shake, Piero. So they would read step by step, sound by sound, spelling by spelling. This is how we learn. Similarly, children also learn in the same method. So speech impairment is actually a health issue. But no health issue can stop you from speaking, because speaking is not only a physical ability, it is the ability of mind. If the mind is determined, then you can do anything. So you have to tell children that they have to be strong, they have to be confident, they have to continue their practice, and you support them. You know, what is a role of a teacher? The good teacher is one who can motivate the students to learn, and you just motivate the automatically they will do everything. Automatically they will pick up and learn, and they will go ahead, and it is only the first push you have to give, and continually they will start picking up. That is why language is important. The way we teach language is important. The way we use language is important. All this is very, 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 very important. You know, the way you say will make the effect. In Hindi, what do we say? You know, in Hindi there is very simple sentence: बात करने से बात बनती है ना, बात करने से बात बनती है. Even in Urdu, it's a similar expression. If you speak, your voice is heard. If you speak, the voice is heard. If you don't speak, and you can't complain that I'm unheard. So speaking becomes a skill because of this, and language becomes a medium because of the power that the language has. The power. If I say the power, people will not immediately catch up, because we are in the habit of having Indian pronunciation. You know, the colonized countries, we have that impact of mother tongue on the other tongue. So instead of power, we say power. That is how it makes a difference. But that is not wrong, because you can speak the way you want to speak. If I am born in India, people cannot expect that I would speak like a person born in England. It's natural. I would speak my natural English. I would not pretend to be somebody else. I will be what I am. That is why, if you look at the Africans, how do they speak English? They speak their very own African English. I wanna gonna there. They will say. No, they will not say, I want to go there, I'm telling you. I wanna gonna there, I'm telling you. You know, just like that. So this is an accent. They pick up the accent according to their own country. What is important is how you motivate the child. Because, as I said, language comes from the mind. It doesn't only come from the body, it comes from the mind. So you have to touch the mind of the child. You have to make the child understand that the mind has to be determined. Right? Thank you, dear. It was a wonderful question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, again, because it has been really enlightening again, very enlightening indeed. How to really keep up with the whole thing, to keep up the practice, not to survey, not to proceed unswervingly, and that is what gives us good English or any language. To learn any language, we have to be steadfast. So it was wonderfully placed, wonderfully put. Thank you, madam. Thanks again. And communication team, you can, if there be any other question makers, I can allow only one more. We are already 1 hour and a half past here, more than 90 minutes in the program. So just one more question, if there is anybody. Is there anybody else, or should I? Please let me know on the back end. So I think if there is none else to make any questions. So, can you give me the message? Can you give me the clearance, ma'am, from the back end? I don't think there is. So I just tell you a few words. If
Okay,
captain
sir, I
actually has
can ask one question because one of the students, they sent me a question. So can I ask that to our special guest?
yes, you can always.
Okay, sir, thank you. So one of our students has sent me a question, and that question is regarding speaking anxiety. So that student asked that, when we speak a second language, we often get anxious. So what are some ways to overcome the speaking anxiety?
Everyone experiences it while speaking. Speaking anxiety is a common issue. I think I should say it's a common problem for everyone, especially when we use in public or we use second language. There are some reasons for speaking anxieties. Think shyness, hesitation, fear of mistakes, lack of practices, lack of fluency, and so on. From my personal experience, I think you cannot to rid of anxiety, but you can. What you can do is you can reduce it to a minimum level. That's what I did. So I had the same problem, as I said. I had the same issue. So from my personal experience, what I can recommend to who asked the question. Before speaking, you have try to know your environment. Just try to know your topic. So if you prepared well, if you know your topic, it must be for you to speak. Then you can see your ideas. You know your environment first. You know your topic first. Then you can organize your head. You can do just like brain, or you can write it down. Whatever you do, just get prepared. After that, third step is most important for me. So it can help you a lot, which is you can visualize it. You can imagine the situation. You can imagine to someone. You can imagine you are in the middle of a with a lot of people, and to them imagine it and talk to yourself. And by talking to yourself, I'm speak mirror, because eye contact, when you speak to someone, eye contact important. So speak to yourself, there's someone else to maintain that. So speaking in front mirror, I mean practicing in front of mirror, key. That's what worked. I mean helped me a lot to improve my English. I came from a remote area. There was no good institutions. There was no good. I should say proper teachers. So when I went to England, when I learning English, I think I was struggling a lot. I didn't know. I didn't have any clue. What should I do? People used to laugh at me, but you shouldn't care. People laugh at you. If people if you think like, oh, what people will judge you or something like that. You have nothing to lose. All you can do is just try. You have nothing. Okay. No need to be you don't need to be shy or hesitate. You don't need to hesitate. Just try yourself. So remember the step. First, know your environment, then organize your ideas, then visualize or imagine the situation, then practice in front of mirrors. I think this will help you a lot. Okay? This worked for me. I hope it will work for you. That's all.
Thank you, sir, for answering her question.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was really wonderfully answered. It was a very informative and a very useful answer to the question sent by a student and read out by Nusrat ma'am. So That's it. That's a very, very true scenario. That's a very correct scenario that you have brought here. That our lack of scope of practice here in Bangladesh just lets us down in some cases, or whenever we go abroad or we pursue higher studies. What we suffer from our background is that the dearth of the scope of speaking in English, and that basically happens. It's a paradox here. We are a very proud nation. That's why we fought. We are the only nation that fought for the mother tongue, and that's why 21st February is now the International Mother Language Day. But since then, we haven't done justice to fight for the language and to uphold the glory of the language. Doesn't mean that we will not learn other languages. Rather, we should have been doing justice to the martyrs of our language movement by learning as many languages as possible. And Bangla has the most, I think, the highest number of speech sounds, the phoneme units in the world, or something like that. If not the highest number, is somewhere near that. So it would have been easier for us to learn foreign languages. And to add to that, what the predicament that we have now is that, well, Dr. Verma will bear me out, I think, because in India they have the advantage of being plagued by too many languages. Too many languages. By that I mean that every state has a language, so they have to have something in common, like Hindi or English. That's why English is heavily emphasized on. And as I've heard from a student of mine who is now studying in Hyderabad, maybe Dr. Bhagyashree Varma also knows him. From what I learned from them is that, well, there's a lot of scope of speaking English over there. But what happens in our country? Naturally, being a monolingual country, we don't have that scope. As long as we are in the English class, maybe we participate. At best, we listen to our students, listen to somewhat, something of English. And then when they come out of the classroom, they don't talk with their friends. They don't have to talk with their friends in English. And when they step out, they don't have to speak in English to the rickshaw pullers or to the bus conductors and this and that, not even in the super malls and places like that. So it's a very scanty opportunity that prevails in Bangladesh of speaking in English. And that draws us back. That really is a very big bottleneck. It's a great drawback for us. We are not in a position to have ample scope of speaking in English. That is what India is more lucky, I should say, as far as speaking in English is concerned. But at the same time, we must not forget that we are that proud nation that won a language back, that fought a language back, that shed blood for the language, for the mother tongue, that shed blood for the independence. So that nation should not be defeated, should not lose to this in this aspect of life, of learning a language, of learning a foreign language. And to that, we have hundreds of resources now, very brilliant podcasts, and this and that in the YouTube, but not always as enlightening as the speech that Dr. Verma made tonight, this evening. We are so grateful. We are all so grateful. It was a wonderful time, and I'm sure for the students who were watching this webinar, they must have been inspired a lot. They must have been thinking in new terms about how to negotiate with the challenges of English, and they will, I know. So I don't have, I've already said that I rarely run out of words to express my feelings, but this evening I'm really short of words to express my gratitude to Dr. Verma, and also I express my gratitude to Mehedi Alam and to the whole communications team for handling the affair so good, and to say the synopsis of a message that I received from Honorable Chairman just a while ago is that he is inescapably caught up in the fit to fly procedure that he's having to go through right at this moment in London, and he's unable, and he has regretted time and again, and he has said that he has been watching this webinar whenever possible in short stints, and he has spoken highly of it and said that next time he will be more than glad to join us. So with that message from our honorable chairman, I'd like to call it a day, and with thanks and gratitude to all and to our viewers, our students, and anybody viewing from anywhere right across the world, because I know people have been viewing from Dhaka, from Mumbai, from London, and from where not. So I thank all of them and express my gratitude to make this webinar a total success. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, namaste, and every greetings possible. Thank you very much.